During the child-friendly community conference, we from Unschooling School made a presentation on sociocracy in schools. And as a follow-up conversation, we, together with Uniting for Children and Youth, invited a group of youth activists to reflect on sociocracy in their own contexts.
But essentially, to me, it means like giving me a say, because I'm a young Muslim woman and I often don't get like included because I'm seen as a minority. So sociocracy to me means you've got everybody involved. It's not just like one representative who always has to share their thoughts without being able to speak to the others.
Really listening to people and really having not just kind of you're there as a token to kind of represent something, you're actually involving everybody's voices. So I think when you really involve people, like true involvement, you get way better kind of solutions.
I feel like, that 49% margin is a large gap, and with democracy you kind of have that discrepancy on whether like what to do and like what not to do. And I feel like sociocracy would be more effective even like around the world, just with government procedures, definitely with making decisions.
It utilizes small groups feeding into a larger web. Like it uses connectedness between different levels of power, and that when you have smaller groups that can just make decisions by themselves, not everything needs to go to the highest level, and it eliminates a lot of bureaucracy while spending time on things that really matter, like listening to people and coming up with creative solutions.
In the video, you're saying about how sociocracy needs to be like accessible to everyone, and I think that's something that like I really believe in, of like not having these barriers that so many people have to face, whether it be like class or ethnic background, religion, things like that. So I think making sure that everyone can get involved in it, and like other people have said, that everyone's voice is listened to, and that like it truly is representative of the people that you're like in your community.
Democracy is like the theory, and sociocracy is like practically how we would like democracy to be. Democracy is sort of a tick the box kind of thing, and we give people an option, whereas sociocracy is saying you create the options, and it's less of a we'll go with the majority and then more people are happy. It's a case of finding common ground, more compromise in decisions, which I think is like the ideal world of democracy, I think.
To me, sociocracy seems like something that's been a long time coming, because we've always heard about democracy and like our voices being heard, but I don't think anyone's ever truly felt like their voices have been both heard and valued. So it feels like this is something that should have been there a long time ago. I think so many young people need that opportunity and need that system to be in place.
I like that part of consent or non-consent, because with me, I'm trying to get student voice, and I think like things that impact them directly, they should have that option to say yes or no, or because a lot of the times, and I'm actually experiencing it right now, we don't even get an option. We have to go seek out those people who are supposed to be representing us, and they're not coming to seek out us.
A lot of the sort of people in power, they don't really want to listen to everyone on an equal level, and they don't value everyone's opinion equally. So I think the first step would be breaking down those judgments and like prejudices that people have of like just not valuing everyone's comment, whether it be often because of age, like adults just not respecting sort of young opinions.
I sometimes feel like the leaders of this generation have almost given up hope. Like they've lost their hope. Where is that need for change, and where is that drive for change? Because sometimes I think you go to your teachers in school and they just say, well, that's how it is, we can't change it. And you go to a lot of adults and they say, well, that's how it is, the system's like it is, we can't really do anything about it, there's no way to change it. But there is, and I'm so hopeful that our generation is going to be the new leaders.
So many of us have a voice, so many of us want to speak out and reach out, but our teachers like essentially are creating that barrier of being like, oh, but like you can't talk about it because we don't have this system in place. We can see that it's worked in the Netherlands, and so I don't see why it can't work in my college, for example.
It's worrying that now other students think that student voice isn't a real thing and it's like a myth. So it would be nice to see sociocracy implemented as like a wheel, in that you have the leaders that will make the change, but all the members of society are going around on this wheel with having the opportunity to, you know, get on, get off and have their say, but also see the results straight away.
Really reforming our system so that people feel listened to and actually are listened to is really how I'd like to see our kind of locally and kind of globally governed, where people have a say in what happens in their life, and from kids being involved in kind of children's rights and what happens to them in school and kind of in society. I think it's really important to listen to kind of our young members of society and our old members of society, because then we can kind of get a society that we're all looking for, right?